The night Olivia Thompson brought her newborn daughter home from the hospital, something strange happened. Milo, the family's 5-year-old orange tabby cat, a creature famous for his independence, his disdain for being held, and his lifelong habit of sleeping alone on the highest shelf he could find, jumped silently into the baby's crib and refused to move. No amount of coaxing, bribing with treats, or gentle nudging convinced him to leave. He simply turned his amber eyes toward the humans in the room, blinked slowly, and stayed exactly where he was. Within 48 hours, that one stubborn decision would save a life. Stories like this one are easy to dismiss. People love to project human emotion onto animals, to see intention where there is instinct, to call coincidence a miracle. But what unfolded over the next week in that quiet house in suburban Ohio cannot be reduced to sentiment or wishful thinking. It was witnessed by 3 adults, captured on a baby monitor, and ultimately confirmed by a pediatrician who had been practicing medicine for over 2 decades. A woman who, upon reviewing the footage, went quiet for a long moment before saying simply, "This cat saved your daughter." This is not a story about magic. It is a story about the extraordinary sensitivity of animals, the invisible language that exists between living creatures, and one ordinary family whose life was quietly, profoundly changed by a cat who refused to look away. A house divided at first. Olivia and her husband Daniel had adopted Milo 5 years earlier, long before any thoughts of children. He had been a rescue, a skinny, half-wild kitten found behind a grocery store, and he had grown into something magnificent and entirely on his own terms. He was not unfriendly, but he was particular. He chose when to be touched, who to sit near, and how long any human interaction would last. He was, as Olivia liked to say, a cat who had never read the rules about being a pet. When Olivia became pregnant, well-meaning friends offered warnings in equal measure to congratulations. "Cats and babies don't mix. He'll be jealous. You might have to rehome him." Olivia refused to entertain any of it. She had known Milo longer than she had known her own husband, and she trusted him, though she couldn't have explained in rational terms exactly why. The preparation was careful and deliberate. Months before the due date, Daniel set up the nursery and let Milo explore it freely. They introduced baby sounds gradually, the white noise machines, the tinny nursery rhymes, the sudden cries from YouTube videos of other people's infants, so that Milo would not be startled or threatened when the real version arrived. They placed the crib in the center of the room and let him sniff every corner of it. He showed mild curiosity and then wandered off to sit in a sunbeam. Business as usual. Nobody expected what came next. The night everything changed. Baby Nora arrived on a cold Tuesday morning in early February, 7 pounds and 3 ounces, with a full head of dark hair and a cry that Olivia described as the most beautiful sound I have ever heard in my life. The birth was smooth, the hospital stay uneventful. By Thursday evening, the 3 of them were home. Milo greeted them at the door, as he always did, not with excitement, but with a kind of quiet assessment. He sniffed the air, he looked at the small bundle in the car seat, then something shifted in his posture. Not aggression, not fear, something harder to name. Olivia would later describe it as the way Milo looked when he heard a sound outside that she could not yet hear. Alert, focused, and deeply serious. They put Nora down in her crib for the first time. Milo jumped in immediately. I thought it was a dominance thing. I thought he was marking territory, being territorial about this small creature that had invaded his home. I tried to pick him up, and he looked at me, and I put him back down. I tried to pick him up, and he just looked at me. Something in those eyes made me stop. I cannot explain it to you rationally, but I put him back down. Daniel Thompson, Nora's father. Milo positioned himself not on top of Nora. He was careful, deliberate, almost gentle in his placement, but beside her, close enough that his body heat was near her, close enough that he could rest his chin on the edge of the mattress and watch her breathe. He did not sleep.
For the next several hours, while Olivia and Daniel dozed in shifts and the baby monitor glowed green in the corner of the nursery, Milo watched. Does this story move you? Thousands of families have stories just like this one, moments where an animal changed everything. Share this article with someone who needs to read it today. Share this story. 48 hours of vigilance. By Saturday morning, the novelty of Milo's behavior had given way to genuine concern, not about the baby, but about the cat. He was not eating normally. He was not using his litter box with his usual clockwork regularity. Every time Olivia or Daniel gently removed him from the nursery for a few minutes to clean the crib, to change a diaper in better light, to give themselves space, he would sit outside the door and make a low, steady sound. Not quite a meow, something more urgent, more repetitive, like a word being said over and over in a language just out of reach.
"He wasn't aggressive," Olivia said. "He never scratched anyone, never hissed. He was just present. Completely, totally present in a way I had never seen him be about anything in his entire life." Olivia's mother, who was staying with them for the first 2 weeks, thought it was sweet. Daniel's brother, who came to visit Saturday afternoon, thought it was a little creepy. Olivia herself didn't know what to think. She was running on almost no sleep. Her body was recovering from labor, and she was navigating the enormous, beautiful, terrifying first days of new motherhood. She noticed Milo. She noted that his behavior was unusual, and then she filed it away under the general category of things I will think about when I am less exhausted. On Sunday night, everything changed. The moment that changed everything. It was 2:47 in the morning. The baby monitor showed a steady green light. Nora was asleep, had been asleep for almost 2 hours, the longest uninterrupted stretch since they had come home. Olivia and Daniel were in their bedroom, both finally resting. The house was quiet. And then Milo began to scream. There is no softer word for it. He stood outside their bedroom door and made a sound that Olivia described as something between a howl and a shriek, a sound I had never heard him make in 5 years. He did not stop. When Daniel opened the door, Milo turned immediately toward the nursery and then looked back, turned and looked back, again and again. "He was doing what dogs do in the movies," Olivia said, her voice still carrying wonder when she retells it. "He was leading us somewhere." They followed him into the nursery. Nora was in her crib, still on her back, and at first glance everything seemed fine. But Olivia, something in her gut, some animal instinct of her own, leaned down close, and she felt it. Or rather, she didn't feel it. The soft, warm flutter of breath against her cheek was too faint, too irregular. The color of Nora's face was slightly, subtly wrong. "I cannot tell you how I knew," Olivia said. "I had only been a mother for 4 days, but I knew something was wrong with my daughter." They called emergency services. The paramedics arrived in 11 minutes. Nora was taken to the hospital, where she was diagnosed with a serious respiratory issue, a partial obstruction that had been developing quietly, invisibly while everyone slept. The medical team was swift and capable. Nora was treated, monitored, and within 24 hours she was stable. Within 72 hours, she was home again, healthy, breathing easily, already learning to smile. Science note: studies in animal behavior have documented that cats possess sensory capabilities far beyond human perception, including the ability to detect subtle changes in breathing patterns, body temperature, and biochemical signals before medical equipment registered an alert. Researchers at the University of California have documented cases of cats responding to seizures, diabetic crises, and cardiac events before any human in the room was aware anything was wrong. What Milo sensed precisely may never be known, but the evidence suggests that from the moment Nora entered the house, he was monitoring something, some signal too faint, too high, too subtle for any human instrument to catch. And when that signal crossed a threshold he recognized as danger, he did the only thing available to him.
He screamed until someone listened. The language between species. There is a long and complicated history of humans dismissing what animals know. We have built entire philosophical systems on the premise that consciousness, intention, and emotion are uniquely human properties. We debate endlessly whether an animal can truly love, truly grieve, truly choose, and yet the evidence, accumulated over centuries of observation, formalized in the last several decades of rigorous scientific study, consistently points in the same direction. Animals know things we do not. They perceive things we cannot. And the wall between species, when it comes to the most fundamental matters of life and danger, is considerably thinner than we prefer to believe. Olivia Thompson doesn't spend much time on philosophy. She's a practical woman, a high school teacher, someone who has always been more comfortable with facts than with feelings. But she has thought in the months since that Sunday night about the nature of what Milo did. Not why. She has made her peace with the fact that she may never have a satisfying answer to that question, but what? He chose, she said simply. I know that sounds like something you say because it feels right, but I watched the footage. He was not confused. He was not scared. He was not acting from instinct in any simple, automatic sense. He watched over her for 2 days, and when the moment came, he made a choice. He decided to act. And that decision saved my daughter's life. I know it sounds like something you say because it feels right, but I watched the footage. He was not confused. He was not scared. He was not acting from instinct in any simple, automatic sense. He watched over her for 2 days, and when the moment came, he made a choice. He decided to act, and that decision saved my daughter's life.
Milo and Nora, a bond like no other. Nora Thompson is now 3 years old. She walks with enormous confidence through their house, a house she has never known without Milo. He is 8 now, a little slower, a little grayer around the muzzle, but still possessed of that particular feline dignity that brooks no argument. He tolerates being dressed in doll clothes. He allows Nora to lead him around by the collar on a length of yarn she calls his leash. He has been known, on multiple witnessed occasions, to interrupt a nap in order to follow Nora when she toddled too close to the top of the stairs. He still sleeps near her. He has never, since that first night, reverted to his old habit of the high shelf and the solitary sleep. Something changed in him when Nora came home, and whatever changed has not changed back. Olivia has stopped trying to explain it. She has accepted it with the particular grace that sometimes comes when you realize you are in the presence of something larger than your ability to understand it. He chose her, she says. He decided she was his, and in Milo's world, once he decides something, it stays decided. What this story teaches us. It would be easy to take Milo's story and turn it into something simple, a charming anecdote about animals and babies, the kind of thing that collects likes and shares and is forgotten by Tuesday. But there is something here that deserves more careful attention than that. We share this world with creatures whose senses exceed our own in ways we are only beginning to map. We live alongside animals who, for reasons rooted in evolution and biology and perhaps something else entirely, form bonds of extraordinary depth and durability with the humans in their lives. We keep them in our homes, feed them, name them, include them in our family photographs, and we still, routinely, underestimate them. The truth is, your pet is paying attention, not just to what you feed them and when you get home. They are paying attention to you, to your body, your rhythms, your chemistry, your moods. They notice things you have not noticed yet, and on some occasions, in some houses, at some critical 2:47 in the morning, that attention means everything. Milo is not a hero in the storybook sense. He does not wear a cape. He has no interest in being celebrated, and he spent most of the attention that followed the incident demanding his breakfast with characteristic imperiousness. But heroism has never required awareness of itself. It requires only the willingness to act at the right moment in the right direction.
By that measure, an 8-year-old orange tabby cat with a preference for sunbeams and a lifelong suspicion of being picked up is without any qualification 1. 3. The thing nobody talks about. In the months after Nora's health scare, Olivia and Daniel received dozens of messages from other families, people who had their own versions of this story. The dog who woke someone at 3 a.m. before a carbon monoxide alarm went off. The cat who refused to leave a grandmother's side in the week before a silent heart attack. The elderly beagle who led a family to the backyard where a toddler had fallen into a shallow pool. Story after story in every corner of the world from people who all said the same thing in different words. My animal knew something was wrong before I did. These stories rarely make headlines for long. They circulate in family conversations, in online communities, in the quiet exchange between people who have experienced something they cannot fully articulate. But they are not rare. They are, if the volume of reports is any indication, remarkably common, and they point to a relationship between humans and domestic animals that is far richer, far more complex, and far more reciprocal than we tend to acknowledge in our daily lives. We save them from shelters, from the streets, from cold and hunger and neglect, and sometimes, quietly, without any expectation of credit or reward, they save us right back. Milo's gift. On a warm afternoon in late spring, Olivia sat on the back porch and watched Nora and Milo in the garden. Nora was talking to him seriously about something. She tends to conduct monologues with Milo about subjects of great apparent importance to her, and Milo was sitting very still, watching her face with the focused attention he had always reserved before Nora for birds outside the window. Olivia thought about the night she almost lost her daughter. She thought about the 11 minutes it took for the ambulance to arrive, about how different everything might have been if those 11 minutes had started even 30 minutes later. She thought about the cold February dark, the green glow of the baby monitor, and a cat who had been sitting in a sunbeam one week and standing between a child and disaster the next. She thought about what it means to be chosen by an animal, not just accepted, not just tolerated, chosen. Decided upon, committed to, with all the particular stubbornness and loyalty and gravity that a small wild creature can bring to bear on a single act of devotion. He was just a cat, she said, not disparagingly, but with a kind of wonder at the smallness and vastness of the phrase simultaneously. He was just our cat. He didn't know he was doing something remarkable. He just did it. She paused, watching him watch Nora. I think that's the point, she said softly. He just did it. Does your pet have a story like this? Animals protect us in ways we often don't fully understand until the moment arrives. Share this story with every pet owner you know, and take a moment today to give your own animal a little extra love. Share this story now.